one who wants to find Zora Magdaros more than we do.
Okay. Well, there goes my fluent intro right there. Science talking. And by science talking, I mean sort of science talking. This is more of theoretical science. One of the reasons that I really like this game is because it has impossible evolution. It's because physics says that anything that big, like look at that shit, anything that big would get crushed under its own weight. On top of that, things that fly cannot grow that big. Wait, you know what? Hold on, give me 1 second. This game's cool and all, but I don't think my ears are ready to listen to this guy scream. Reason being, oh, right, I forgot he screams. Reason being is because the more weight that you have on these things, the more muscle you need to be able to fly. But the more muscle you put on it, the heavier it gets. So you see this positive feedback loop, which is constantly, it's just a bad thing. But I like how to think that there's a whole different world where things could have completely evolved in a different way, like this. I think about that. Would that not be the coolest thing ever? Seeing an entire world of animals you couldn't even possibly recognize. Oh, I'm already in its back. Alright, but that's not like the specific thing I wanted to talk about. The specific thing I wanted to talk about was black holes. So, they've always used the example of of something like a bowling ball and a trampoline. The way that the trampoline sort of pushes in towards the bowling ball is a representation of gravity. But that doesn't really give too much of an accurate look. That sort of makes it look like a 2D version. And that's not really right. It's not 2D, it's 3D. So you sort of have to think about it as in, if there was an infinite amount of trampolines stacked up on top of each other, and if there was anything other than that trampoline, then it causes it to be sort of pushed in. Come on, don't die. Sort of the same way that you see the trampoline being pushed downwards, except it's being pushed in every single direction, technically. It's just distortion, that's what it is. But what I've thought of as a black hole would sort of be a fourth, or not a fourth dimensional hole, but a third dimensional hole. Like, how do I explain this? I didn't come into this video with a plan. Are you kidding me? You know I never come into these videos with a plan. In fact, I don't even know how I'm keeping up doing all this stuff while still explaining my theory on how black holes can actually be a hole into, like, I don't know, a fourth dimension or something. Because again, they say that black holes have infinite gravity, yes? So if they have infinite gravity, and gravity causes the quote-unquote fabric of space-time to be pushed in, yeah. The way I've thought about it is, I'd say the first dimension is like just looking at a straight line. I mean, we're looking in 3-dimension, right? Or not 3-dimension, we're looking in 2-dimension. We are 3-dimensional creatures, objects, whatever. But we see things in 2 dimensions. But if you were to sort of draw out dimensions, the first dimension would again just be like a normal looking line. Oh my shit. Okay, at least I got that hit off. Get away from me. The first dimension would be that line. The second dimension would be adding a line onto that line, right? So you would have your y-axis and your x-axis, right? But you fill all of that in. Oh my god, that was close. But you fill all of that in. The third dimension is adding a third axis. So you have now the z-axis, and you fill all of that in. I'll probably put up a picture somehow. Oh my god. I'll put up a picture somehow to explain this, because I know explaining it in words is not the easiest. But just bear with me right now. I should not have wasted that. But just bear with me right now. fuck, man, I hate those fucking horns. If you were to do that, right, you were to make an extra axis. Son of a... If you were to make an extra axis and fill it in, that would be your third dimension. So, logic... fuck you, man. So logically speaking, if I were to get, say, something that's already three-dimensional, like space-time, and force another hole and create another axis into a part that isn't the 3 dimensions that it's going, which is X, Y, and Z, then you would be making the 4th dimension, would you not? Whether you would be making it or entering the 4th dimension, I'm not sure on that. But I would say, oh my god. Okay, no, I wouldn't say oh my... Well, I mean, no, I would probably say oh my god, dude. Imagine that, 4th dimension? Like, fuck. Black holes have infinite gravity, yes? That means... No. That means they're being sort of pushed into a singular point, and that's why they're sometimes called a singularity. So if they're being pushed into a single point, and they're being pushed so infinitely deep, that must be poking a hole in this quote-unquote fabric of space-time, no? God. Yeah, you would be forcing a different axis. Oh my god, I don't know how I'm dodging any of this. The 4th dimension being caused by a black hole, it would be counting as, I would say a gateway. Point being, right, it would look pretty fucking cool. Point being, it would look pretty fucking cool. So 4th dimensional beings should be able to see in 3D. Which would mean that they could see everything all at once. And we can't really perceive that because we're still thinking in 2 dimensions. Come on, every single time I try and do that, can you just not shut your mouth for like half a second while I do this? Alright, that's... Just you wait until I'm done eating this steak around you. Oh my god. Oh, it worked. But yeah, that's just one thing I like to think about. A black hole would technically have to be, or at least in my eyes, through what I've said so far, to me it seems... Fuck, man, that thing does a lot of damage. Like a black hole can be sort of a gateway to the 4th dimension. It's really hard to explain past that point of once you start getting into what is the 4th dimension, or what would you see, or blah blah blah, then it becomes all theoretical. So theoretical that you have to bring in numbers. Oh my god. And I'm not doing that. Yes, I know we're late for school. I'm going. Alright. So what happens after we die? Well, I've taken into account things like sleeping. I want to say it's sort of like sleeping, but just a really intense version of it. Whenever we go to sleep, our immune system, practically everything except for our mind, slows down. Our mind, though, is sort of speeds up. There's more brain activity and such. Don't you fucking touch me. Call Child Protective Services, money. I swear to God. I'm not even where it's at. Can you stop for like a second? Okay, good. Thank you. Gosh. Yes! Wow. Wow, it really did that. It really just did that. You better run away right now before I fucking blow your face off. Now, whenever you die, everything stops complete. Whenever you go to sleep and you don't, let's say, have a dream, right, that night, you just seemingly wake up the next day and it seems like it's been, what, 30 minutes? Maybe like 10 minutes? If I take that exact same logic into account with death, alright, let me just explain to you these fundamentals of laws of physics or whatever while I do this. So, if oh my fucking god, I have yet to put this down. This is bigger than me. I can hide inside of this. So if I take that exact same logic into account, and I decide to, let's say, well, not decide to die, but let's say someone dies, I would think that, what the fuck? It really just hit the thing. Okay, then I would think time would go on, or it would seem to them that time would go on, and go on, and go on, and go on. And if all time is, infinite, as they say, then that means every possibility ever is possible. It has 100% chance of happening, no matter what it is, no matter how no matter how unrealistic it seems, it will always happen. But that's only because time is infinite. Another theory is that if you ever seemingly die like that, you won't actually experience dying after such a long time. Then even black holes will just dissipate due to things like Hawking radiation. Wow, I'm so glad I dodged that. That is probably the first time I have ever dodged that. And there's the bullshit again. So somebody else's death theory goes is that if we ever supposedly die, as if someone never shot themselves, right? Then they would never experience dying. In fact, it would be so much that they wouldn't experience dying that it would seem like, oh, the gun jam, or basically something else happened where I didn't die. And the theory goes that our consciousness leaves the body that we're in, I guess, and travels to a different timeline or dimension or blah blah blah. If our consciousness does leave our body whenever we die and travel to some other timeline where we're the exact same because time is infinite, but not the exact same, there's very slight differences. That also brings in to question what deja vu is, which could be sort of a separation of choice, a difference between this timeline and the previous one. I mean, it's a whole little bullshit just coming from my mouth, but I mean, doctors are basically bullshitters but with certificates, so I mean, we're good. Oh, what? I fucking killed it. Our consciousness, if it stays, I guess, alive, quote unquote, I don't know what you would consider being alive, but if our consciousness stays there, as for my theory, it just means if time goes on, then eventually you'll be born again, and it'll just seem like your life that you're living probably right now. You don't know how long you'll have to wait till the next time. On top of that, you don't know what next time will be like. Because they say our possibility of all of this that we're experiencing right now is like a 0.00000, like so many zeros that they go off of the screen, and then a 1 at the end, right? But if time is infinite, then no matter how small that percent is, then it will always happen, which means it's not actually at that 0.01 times 10 to the negative 29th power or something. Those are my two things that I like to talk about. Well, not talk about, but I like to think about. And if dying is like sleeping, then that means our consciousness may, I don't know. If you want to hear some other things or theories like that, then let me know. And you should tell somebody else. Yeah, but, just go tell people about me. I don't know, tell them about my theories and shit. And tell me about what you think happens when we die, or what a black hole is, or what it could possibly be, or anything. Or give me a suggestion on as to what I should think about. And then think about theories about that and so forth. And that's what I'm gonna use this game for, because it takes way too fucking long. I'll see you next video.